Hi, welcome to the Freedom Habit. My name is Michelle. This is my husband, Boyd. And today we're talking about outpicturing. And outpicturing is when your inner world eventually becomes your outer world.
Yeah, and outpicturing can't be faked because it shows what you're actually believing internally, and it's the cause and effect. What we believe causes the effect of the 3D in the outer world. So it's always going to show you who you're actually being, not what you're just saying.
All right, so like Boyd had mentioned, you can attract from a frequency that you don't live in. And this comes down to like our daily habits, what we're tolerating, what we're avoiding, what we're
Yeah, you're
repeating.
right, Michelle. All right. That felt natural. Yeah, in our internal emotional climate or atmosphere actually creates the outcomes and shapes our outcomes that we see in life.
It's not just your thoughts, it's your emotional baseline. And an example of this is when I was when I was full blown into my addiction, I felt shame. And shame is like the lowest frequency of them all. And that was my baseline every day. I just felt shame. And with that, I felt unworthiness. And so I was manifesting, creating my reality from that baseline of shame. So with that became repeating patterns in my life. I was creating chaos.
Yeah, in our daily habits actually manifest more than our affirmations, you know?
Yeah.
And our subconscious minds outpicture faster than our conscious desires.
An example of that would be like in the car when you're hitting the gas, but your emergency brake is on.
Yeah. Yeah, you could floor the car and it's not going anywhere.
Nope, not without doing damage to the car.
Right?
I can tell you that from experience.
And it damages ourselves ultimately. You know, our habits manifest faster than our affirmations, and our subconscious beliefs outpicture faster than our conscious desires. And a good example of this is when Michelle and I decided we were coming to Thailand. We just made up our mind one night. And the next morning I had to go to work. I was working at a car factory in Nashville. And I started telling everybody I worked with, I go, hey, me and my wife are moving to Thailand. And everybody's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I was telling them about the cost of living.
Yes.
I was all excited because it's pretty affordable to live here, and it's beautiful. You know, we live on an island. It's like living in Hawaii for 1/3 of the price. And I was so excited. And you know what? I didn't know how we were going to get here. I didn't know when we were going to get here. We had to get visas and passports and figure out how we were going to get our pets, our cats to come with us.
Right.
And we had no idea of any of this. But you know what? I already saw it in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to happen.
Yes.
I 100% knew it was going to happen. I actually had chills. I'm there at work, working my butt off, sweating. And I'm like, whoever I was working with that day got an earful about Thailand and how we were going to move there. And that just is a good reminder. Like, man, if you believe it, it comes true. And we didn't even sell our house yet. We still had to sell our house. We had all these steps, all these things, and anything could have went wrong in any of those steps, you know. And we also had a desire to leave by the end of the year. And we actually left on January 18th, and we showed up here in Thailand on January 19th, 2019.
Yeah.
So there's a good example of just getting excited and believing it, and just seeing it in your mind, giving it to yourself in your mind before you actually see it in the 3D.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Sometimes we'll look out in the 3D, out there for validation and confirmation of what's inside. And it takes time to catch up. You're not always going to see in the 3D right away uh, what's going on in here.
Well, it's antithetical to everything we were ever taught. You know,
Yeah.
we were taught seeing is believing. So when you see it in the 3D, well, then you know you have it. And it's completely opposite of that, of course, like many, many sayings in our culture. You know, so don't ride the roller coaster. Stop going up when you see things in the 3D and getting excited. And then when you only give it to yourself in your mind, you doubt your mind, your imagination. When we doubt our imagination, it just prolongs how long it's going to take to appear in the 3D,
Right.
you know, in the external world. And that's the thing, you know, when we just ride our emotions up and down and like let it take our thoughts and aim our thoughts in different directions, and we're like double minded all the time, it's hard to make anything come to fruition, you know?
Right. Right. It's hard to manifest your desires if you're continually
Yes.
doubting that it's happening because you're not seeing it right away.
So really the secret is to raise your internal baseline, like where your emotional uh default setting is. Like, do you normally go to anxiety or fear or doubt? Or do you when you just rest, when you kind of just are sitting there? Or are you thinking about the future and some, you know, I like how Joe Dispenza says, you remember your future,
I
you
like
know?
that.
Yeah,
I
I do
like
too.
that too.
Yeah, so we should sit there and remember our future rather than sit there and think about what might go wrong in the future or the things that went wrong in the past because there's only now. And whenever you do that, you're bringing the past to now, and your body thinks that you're reliving it, or you know you're bringing the future to now, and you're worrying about something that might happen, which probably will never happen. Actually, there was a study done
Hmm.
with people who had a tendency to have anxiety about the future.
Uh-huh.
This happened in 2016. I think it was at Stanford. I'm not 100% sure. Um, and they found that they had a group of people, and they for a year they wrote down things they were concerned about and worried about. And at the end of the year, only 9% of what they worried about happened, and 91% of everything they worried about
Uh,
didn't even happen. So most of the time, we're sitting there freaking out, bringing our bodies into this emotional turmoil over something that has less than a 91% chance of happening.
oh wow. Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
that's a scientific study that they did. So
Yeah. So we got to be careful of that. We got to be careful about our energy and negative energy. You know, the news, things, movies we watch, our opinion. We watched a thing about opinions
I just
today.
heard this today. Negative thoughts are often disguised as opinions. You know, so we don't think we're thinking negative, although we're sitting here judging politics or a friend of ours or somebody we work with or the guy driving in front of us or whatever, or even ourselves. How many times do we sit there and judge ourselves? Why did I do that? That was stupid or whatever, you know? And most of our opinions and most of the opinions of anybody in this world are usually focused on the negative thing, a mistake somebody made or something somebody's doing that you don't agree with. So, you know, negative thinking is often disguised as an opinion, but it still has the same harmful negative effect on our body. Our body's living through this turmoil of negativity and fear or anger for no reason. And that just perpetuates illness and, you know, stalls our manifestation, even with wealth or relationships or anything. It's not a good practice.
Another thing about that is our subconscious, when we have an opinion, we always think our opinion is right. So our subconscious will have us throw out these opinions, which can turn into gossip because we're validating, our subconscious is validating that we're right. But really, it's still negative. So even though, we think it's a positive thing, our subconscious thinks it's positive, it's actually negative because our opinions are negative, and we have a tendency to do that because of, you know, how we were raised between the
Yeah.
government, schooling, and our our families.
Yeah, and there's nothing more that our ego loves than to be right.
Right.
It's like, I knew this was going to happen. That was too good to happen. This is too good to be true. There's no way this is going to last. If it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. I mean, people say things like that. That's what we all do. I mean, I did that most of my life, and
Yeah.
I catch myself now to a large degree. Not always, obviously, because nobody's ever perfect. But I'm usually aware, and if I don't realize it right at the moment, I'll catch it maybe a couple minutes later. Go like, "I wow, I shouldn't have said that. I can't believe I said that."
Yeah. And that's key, awareness. All right, so we have 4 steps to change your internal baseline. And I'm going to read them here because I want to get them correct. The first one is notice the repeating habits. And then secondly, identify the belief underneath it. You know, sometimes we will repeat things because we don't because of our limited beliefs. Like I was talking about my addiction, you know, I continued to use because I wasn't feeling worthy. And number 3 is shift the daily habit attached to that belief. And number 4 is practice the energy you want before life gives it to you. Because believing is receiving.
Yeah. I know I numbed out for years using pain pills, especially, and drinking alcohol. And I just didn't want to face the uncomfortable emotions that were instilled in me from childhood and whatever, past relationships, just everything.
Right.
I mean, and you know, we're programmed by other people as children. That's just a fact. And you know, when you live in a home full of turmoil, it's hard to look at that stuff. And your emotional baseline is all about anxiety and nervousness. So yeah, those are 4 good steps. And yeah, we need to teach our minds to be able to believe things before we see.
Right.
And that's not an easy thing when you've been living for 60 years doing the opposite.
But it works.
It
It
does
works.
work.
And we
It
have
does
seen
work.
it work.
Yes, many times.
Ah, yes. Yes, many times. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.